I was eating some raw chicken sushi when out of the corner of my eye, I saw a furry and then another furry. So I got up to see what was going on and followed them, and then there was 10 furries and 20 furries and hundreds of furries, and I realized there was a whole furry convention at the mall I was at. But then I remembered I just didn't pay at the restaurant, and I heard them say on the intercom,
and
I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to get out of here. But these furries were everywhere, and I tried to sneak into this dark warehouse, but there was a rave going on inside, so I found a door to the outside, but it was raining and had no exit and no hope, until I saw someone's left behind fursuit on the ground with some stains in it. But I had no other way to escape, so I put it on to try and blend in and re-enter the mall and saw so many horrifying things and still couldn't find the exit and was getting actual heat stroke, so I decided to just turn myself in. So I went up to a cop and said, I'd like to turn myself in, and it was a damn Zootopia cop! So I just bolted out of that lawless wasteland and jumped over furries to find a fire exit and made it out and stripped out and threw my suit in the river! I use my mom's Facebook Marketplace for buying clothes and organs sometimes, but today I saw that Taylor Swift's private jet was selling for $1,000 because she got in trouble for flying them every single day or something. But I thought, I'll take it, and I messaged them and hurried to the bank to take out $1,000 in cash. And I brought it to the address, which was her own airline hangar, and when I arrived, I saw the plane. And I took a bunch of pictures in front of it and then went through her makeshift security. But when I got there, there was a little party going on. And I was like, oh, fun. And I participated in the party, but then it got a little rowdy, and I asked, can I own this plane still? And it turns out some rappers bought it before I could and started filming a music video in it. But I was still bitter from being outbid, so I pulled the emergency latch and breached the airlock, and now I have the whole plane to myself. Hey guys, just got first class, and they gave us free orange juice, free a little mask that come down and put you to sleep. Last weekend, me and some pals and Mr. Beast gathered around to sacrifice a giant minion for fun. But after we killed it to death, I was like, now what? And Mr. Beast said,
Dave is finally dead. So is this stupid trend.
But I thought to myself, that's kind of awkward, because to me it wasn't a trend, and I got a giant minion tramp stamp tattoo a few days before. And I was so embarrassed that I got in my car and drove around looking for a laser tattoo removal place, but the only one that I could find in my town went out of business when they accidentally cut someone's leg off. And it also looks like the back room. So I ordered a tattoo laser gun off of Shein. And when it arrived a week later, I got ready to use it after accidentally burning a hole in my eyeball, but I reached behind me and started burning it off, and it smelled like burnt chicken for about an hour, but I thought it was essentially gone. Until I was at Walmart a week later when I saw this lady drop her toe fungus medication, and when I bent down to pick it up for her, the scar popped out and she screamed and thought I had monkeypox, and I was like, shut the hell up, wordy ass bitch. Let's see those toes you need to scream for. Today I woke up on Mr. Beast's 35-foot-tall inflatable minion that I tried blowing up the night before with my lungs, but my asthma kicked in and I passed out. But anyways, last week he was like,
Hey Ben, can you make me the world's largest minion?
But I hung up on him because he's not despicable enough. He's like the opposite. He's like philanthropicable. But he called back and I was like, he really is despicable. And I agreed to do it, and ever since then I have been making sure this minion is perfect. So I got the whole factory to line up and take turns blowing it up so I wouldn't be the only one passing out. And I tried to fashion together a giant suit to fit him, but I ran out of fabric and... But finally he was ready. The only problem was when I opened my trunk and tried to fit his body in it, which usually it can fit a few of those, he didn't fit. So I had to ship him in a truck, but I wanted to be along for the journey, so I snuck in while the back door was open and rode in that boy across America until we finally stopped, and I opened the door and... Hey.
Hey.
I got your minion.
Just put it over there.
Okay. Today I spent 9 hours painting Doja Cat, and it turned out so good that I decided to DM it to her. And she actually replied by saying, it's terrific. And I was just in disbelief that she replied, so I screenshotted it as fast as I could and posted it on my story to show all my friends. But after she saw it, she DM'd me a picture of the front of my house and my birth certificate. And when I said, yes it is Doja Cat, I saw she mentioned me in her story, and when I looked, she had posted both of those images on her story, and I was like, Doja, why would you do that? And then she went live and was very angry at me, and the next thing I knew, there were people banging on my front door, and then one of them threw something through my window, and I had no clue what it is, so I slowly approached it. But when I got too close, it started to fill my room with gas, and I heard on her live stream and she said,
careful of the tear gas, you're getting gas.
So I grabbed what I could and ran out of my house and saw a flyer on the telephone pole for witness protection, and I called them and had to throw away my passport and credit cards, and now I'm flying to New Zealand to start a new life. Thanks, Doja Cat. Today I was flying over North Korea and trying to sleep even though there was a baby screaming behind me because it shat itself. But what really kept me awake was a song started playing that plays in like all those plane crash TikToks. And then the plane started shaking and the seatbelt sign turned off. And the plane was shaking so much that it spilled water all over my no-no square. And I thought if this plane is going down, I'm not about to be found dead looking like I peed myself. So I snuck into the bathroom even though it said seatbelts on. And I grabbed some paper towel and tried to dry it off. But it was shaking so much that I just went back to my seat. And that's when I realized the music was coming from the stupid baby behind me's iPad because it knocked its AirPods off from sharding so aggressively. So I tried to lean between the seats to turn it off, but I couldn't reach it, so I called over the flight attendant and asked if we could just throw the child out of the airlock, but she didn't speak English and just gave me almonds. So I peacefully lost my mind for 7 hours, and when I landed, I saw the most nasty little sharder and chased after it because it left its iPad behind, but when I touched it, there was literal baby food on it, and I dropped it and cracked the screen. And then I picked it up again to check if it was working, and saw the lock screen, and it jump scared me, and I dropped it again. Whoops! I was scrolling through Tinder because the last person I met was when I was at the Apple store and came across some girl's number that she left on an iPad. So I took it and went home and tried texting it and just said hi, and then she replied asking if she could come over for some eggplant. And I panicked because I've never cooked eggplant before. But I remembered I could make eggplant parmesan, so I was looking for recipes on Google when I realized I accidentally typed in eggplant permission. Anyways, she said she was 30 minutes away, and I ended up running to the grocery store to buy some eggplant. So I grabbed some eggplants, and then I needed the parmesan. So I went up to this giant wheel of parmesan they had, but I couldn't lift it, so I just got a little piece. Anyways, I went home and chopped up the eggplant and dropped some on the ground, but I used the 5-minute rule because I'm half white. And I put it in the pan, and then I added some cheese and was gonna bake it when I found a spider in my oven. So I baked that instead until he was nice and crispy, and then I threw the eggplant in, and it was finally ready. So I sent her a picture of the eggplant parmesan and said, "You ready for this eggplant?" But then all of a sudden my texts to her were green, and I heard tires screeching outside. Anyways, now I'm back on Tinder, so if anyone wants a serving of eggplant parmesan, make sure you match with me. Today I texted my crush that I love her and want a relationship, and I felt like throwing up until she replied with, "I'm in Lisbon." And then she sent the, Portuguese flag, I think. I don't know, I'm not good at geometry. But anyways, I wanted to surprise her, so I booked the next ticket to Lisbon, Portugal. So I packed up my stuff and went to the airport, and it was a 30-hour journey, but it was in the name of love. And when I landed, I realized I should probably get her something as a gift, so I walked into a store and came across these very interesting frozen feet in the freezer section, and I thought, who would want to suck on feet? Oh, me. So I bought them and opened up the box and ate every last foot. And they tasted like strawberries. I don't know why I was expecting foot flavor. Not that that's what I wanted, but anyways, I got the bright idea to take all the popsicle sticks and make a little fun DIY bracelet out of them with hearts on it. So I did just that, and then the next day, I was gonna give my crush the bracelet. So I went to DM her and asked her to meet up and realized she said, I'm a lesbian. I was scrolling through the deep web when I saw an ad for a GoFundMe to get the Queen an air fryer before she dies. So I went to it and saw no one had donated. So I gave her $5 and went to bed. But when I woke up the next morning, I got an email that it was shut down by GoFundMe. And I knew the Queen still needs an air fryer, so I packed my bags and went to the airport to book the next flight to London to bring her an air fryer that I bought for her. And after 10 hours, I landed and Ben was in the Big Ben. So I took the train to the Buckingham Palace where she lives. But when I got there, they had it gated off and I couldn't go in to see the Queen. So I found another entrance with a flimsy little fence that I slid under, and then I popped over another fence, but that triggered an alarm. So I was running as fast as I could, and I happened to drop the air fryer, but I had to hide, so I managed to find the Queen's quarters and snuck in, and I thought I was safe until I woke up on some cliffs on an island with nothing but a note on my arm that said,
Please, they won't let me air fry.
Elizabeth, I will save you. Today I went to go see Billie Eilish at Coachella, but before she came on, there was this dude wearing a big sparkly onesie who opened for her that kept staring at me, and I was thinking to myself, what's up, do you have a staring problem, buddy? But anyways, he did a little dancey dance thing, and Shrek was in the audience and seemed to love it, but his cameraman kept getting in the way and then turned to me, and the next thing I knew, rewind that. He put me on the big screen, and I freaked out and went behind the cameraman and started unplugging random cables from his camera, and it turned off the video on the screen. But anyways, then Billie Eilish came on and kept invading my personal space and staring at me, and I was like, dude, celebrities never get taught that staring is rude? Why are you yelling at me? But then she did her little dancey dance and left the stage, and I took a golf cart home from Coachella, and when I woke up the next morning, I checked my phone to see a DM from Billie herself asking if I was at her show with a winky face. And I replied, no, silly Billie, here's a restraining order, leave me alone. And I went back to bed. Today, my Mima told me that she bought an NFT, and I was like, Mima, you just asked me if Mark Zuckerberg was my girlfriend. How do you know what an NFT is? So anyways, I was using one of those head massagers when I got a knock at the door, and when I answered, no one was there except for a box with a towel in it and some noodles with a note that said, NFT, noodly fun towel. And it wasn't even fun, it was soaking wet in some mysterious liquid. And I was about to put it away in my closet when I got the idea that I could actually make it into an NFT and get some use out of it. So I made some room and I took a picture of it and made it look all pretty, and I minted it on Bubble House and made it free for a limited time. And I emailed her back and told her to go claim one before they're all gone. And even her bingo club can get one, and even you. And we can play bingo together on Bubble House with my meme on her bingo group. Every day I bike past this fenced-off neighborhood near me that's radioactive from a nuclear meltdown. But today I decided to explore it, so I went through a gap in the fence, and after walking for about 10 minutes, I got to this mysterious door in the middle of nowhere, so I did a little knock and let myself in and closed it behind me to be polite to the radiation. Anyways, I went down the stairs and saw, some interesting artifacts that I was not exactly a fan of. And I continued through the bunker and found a very inviting door that made me feel super safe, which led to more stairs that had my knees cracking like Rice Krispies. Anyways, I eventually got to this tunnel and some doors at the end of it that said danger, do not enter. But I went in because my middle name is Danger. Just kidding, it's Emil. And after I went through the door, it closed behind me and I tried everything but couldn't open it up because it was locked. So I decided to look around and see what my grave location was gonna look like, thinking maybe it's a movie theater or a game room. And I turned the lights on to see that there was an actual nuclear missile silo where they held the nukes. And it went 100 feet down, and now this is where I live, I guess. And my phone is now on 1% uploading this TikTok. So if you see this, that's the last time you're gonna... Today I DoorDashed some cooked goldfish from PetSmart because I was really hungry and they were only $3. So I placed the order and walked over to PetSmart to pick it up. But when I got there, I walked in and found the food pickup section and saw all the soon-to-be sushi swimming around in their little tanks that were right next to the not-so-swimming sushi. And that's when I realized maybe pet store food isn't the best move. But I was still super hungry, so I asked an employee if they have anything else to eat, but she told me if I want to act picky, they have rats for sale. So I opened up the rat fridge and I couldn't do it. So I ended up buying some bugs for like $2, which was such a great and amazing deal. And when I got home, I was so hungry that I ripped open the bag of bugs and just told myself that this little grasshopper in my chopsticks is a Cheeto. So I popped it in my mouth and I felt movement. And I spat it out and it jumped out of the bowl! And I panicked and ran to the toilet. For the next 3 hours, I vomited up my insides. Today, I threw away all my electronics so I could join the Amish and live a simple life. But after about 10 minutes, I got really bored of harvesting wheat and apples and wanted to watch a good old YouTube video. But I didn't have any devices to watch YouTube on, so I obviously walked over to the YouTube headquarters. And when I got there, I managed to walk right in and I found an empty room with a TV in it so I could watch a few videos from my personal collection. Anyways, after I had cured my boredom, I left the room and raided the YouTube fruit counter and grabbed an orange and an apple and a DVD copy of the videos I watched. But when I finally got home, I realized I can't play this because I don't have a record player. But I looked around my room and saw an old radio speaker thing and popped the CD in it just so I could listen to the audio and imagine the video in my mind. But when it started playing, it sounded like it was coming from outside my house, and that's when I realized I had it set to broadcast. And I ran outside to see every radio in the vicinity was playing. I wanted to go to Chili's today, but it was burning down, so instead, I went to go get sushi. But it was one of those places where it comes on a conveyor belt and you can take what you want, except for this piece of shrimp that refused to cooperate and wouldn't release. But it's okay, because they also have a screen you can order from, so I ordered myself some crispy rice, and it zoomed by faster than I could say, "No, officer, I had nothing to do with the Chili's burning down." Anyways, then I saw these nasty cubes that look like Minecraft gravel, and I lost my appetite. So I put all the plates down the chute since I was done with them, when I wondered what's actually in there. And it said, please don't insert hands or objects, but what did I do? Hit record on my phone and insert it into the slot, which was really smart because then I dropped it down into the chute and had to call over a waiter in shame, and he told me that non-plate items go out the garbage chute around back. So I went down this creepy corridor and finally found it, and when I grabbed my phone and sat down to check what footage I had recorded, I saw...
And this time, we're gonna get funky. Funky.
I was trying to sell my kidneys on the black market when I got an ad for Shein Eats, and apparently they sell food now. So I ordered some Mexican food because I was really hungry. But when it arrived, it came in what looked like a reused tissue box, and it had a fragile sticker, but it was looking more like a burrito bowl at this point. Anyways, I compared it to the picture in the ad, and it looked nothing like it. But the worst part is there was corn in it, and I'm allergic. And I was beyond mad, so I looked at the shipping label, and it said it was shipped all the way from China. So you know what I did? I was on that next flight to China, and after I boarded the plane next to the world's biggest Facebook model, mom with this suitcase. The food was actually pretty good, a little bit better than Shein's. But anyways, when I landed, I remembered it was the Olympics here in Beijing, so I decided to go to that instead of getting revenge on Shein. Happy Valentine's Day. Aww. Today I went to the movie theater an hour early because I'm half Caucasian and I wanted to see the new Spider-Man for the 30th time. But when I sat down, I noticed that they had QR codes for their overpriced food menus. So I got the intrusive thought to quickly run home and change all the QR codes to moaning sounds. So when I got home, I designed a bunch of fake stickers and printed them off with QR codes so when you scan them, they play this. Anyways, I grabbed the stickers and drove back to the theater and stuck them over the top of the original ones. And as people trickled into the theater and the movie started, and they started scanning the codes for the menu, I suddenly began to hear... And then people would quickly hide their phones and try and turn it off. And it got to the point where they had to stop the movie. So anyways, I left and went for sushi. And when I got there and sat at the table, I noticed that this restaurant also has QR codes for their menu. And I had some stickers left over, so I carefully placed them on top of the old QR codes. And then I looked back at the dude behind me as he scanned his and... Anyways, my sushi was very delicious, 9 out of 10. I just wanted to quickly pop on here and remind y'all that I am a psychic.
Bobby, a BTS burger. I can see them making some sort of food item, like the Travis Scott burger, but the BTS burger, or at least some food-related item that everyone can get.
And you know what McDonald's just posted? I'm a psychic. So I was watching my local 7-Eleven burn down today when I saw a shirt or something in the bushes. And when I walked over, I saw it was a Walmart employee uniform that someone just left there. So I decided to try it on, even though it had a stain on it that looked like, milk. But that's when I got the idea to go to Walmart and see how long it would take them to notice that I don't work there. And I was just walking around in Walmart as a fellow employee. So the first thing I did was give myself a good employee discount on a few things I found. And then I was looking for something to do when I saw the phone for announcements just sitting there. And I was super nervous, but I picked it up and said, "Attention shoppers, everything is free for the next hour." And then I hung up and panicked and tried to find a getaway. And I saw the employees only area. So I went inside and it led me to an elevator, which eventually led me out the main entrance. And when I finally made it out of there, the security was outside with its flashing lights. So I quickly took off my uniform, threw it in the bushes, and ran. Today, I hiked up to the Hollywood sign, but there was a fence blocking access to it, so I committed a little bit of a crime. And I managed to get through, and I changed the sign to Holly Boob by covering the W with a B for boob. Anyways, I was walking down, and I saw helicopters flying overhead, and I was getting kind of nervous. So I ran into the bushes, and I hid from them, because apparently I was on government property, or whatever that means. Anyways, I got an emergency alert on my phone, and when I checked, it said that there was a $2 million bounty for a 6-foot man in green. So I realized I'll have to live off the grid forever in these bushes, with my only food being Lady Gaga Oreos that I brought as a snack. Anyways, I managed to sneak away to a swamp, but I heard the choppers getting closer. But that's when I looked in the distance and saw none other than a 6-foot man in green in the swamp. I had to act fast, so I grabbed my phone and I dialed 911 and I ratted on Shrek. Anyways, Shrek was arrested and charged with 8 felonies and I got a $2 million reward. So now I'm rich and I bought a mansion. Thanks, Shrek. People always ask me, "Ben, how is your skin so bright and shiny?" So instead of gatekeeping my skincare routine, I'd tell them, "Curology's personalized skincare formula." What I meant to say is, I use Curology's customized skincare formula to keep my skin healthy. My family's used Curology for generations and passed it along to me. Just kidding, they probably use laundry detergent to wash their face, and that's why my uncle's cousin has 3 eyes. Anyways, I live in the future where all I have to do is send my selfies over to Curology and let my provider know what my skin situation is. And that's how I got my first month of customized skincare for free, plus shipping and handling. Every night I wash my face with a cleanser and then apply my customized skin cream that was prepared just for me. Then I finish it off with a rich moisturizer and voila, my skin is bright and shiny. Isn't that right, clone, that I gave a 3rd-degree sunburn to? I went to Universal Studios today, but when I got to security, I remembered I had a can of spray cheese in my bag, which you can't bring into parks or anything because it's an aerosol, and they're probably scared that I'm gonna, I don't know, like burn down the Minions ride. So I took my bag and went into the alleyway and wrapped it in the label for my Febreze can that I use as deodorant from time to time. And guess what, baby? They never found it when they searched my bag. So anyways, I went on the Minions ride, and as much as I would have loved to set it on fire until it's nothing but smoldering ruins, I had to settle for beating up the Minion in the gift shop. But anyways, after the ride, I realized I was pretty hungry, and I wasn't gonna spend $20 on Harry Potter butterbeer when I can just put butter in my beer myself. So I snuck into the employees only area to eat my spray cheese. And I thought I grabbed the right can when I sprayed it in my mouth, but I accidentally grabbed the Febreze and basically blinded myself. So I asked Siri, "Call poison control." And she was like,
"Calling animal control."
And I was like, "What? No!" And animal control was like, "Hello, yes, what are you reporting?" And I was like, "My eyes are burning." And they said, "Your ass is burning? We recommend Pepto-Bismol." And I knew they weren't gonna help, so I hung up and I made the hard decision to flush my eyes with Today I made a New Year's resolution to stop filling up my gas car with diesel just because it's cheaper. Because last time I did that, it started smoking when I was driving back from the gas station and then eventually burst into flames. So I've actually failed my first New Year's resolution because now I have no car to fill up with gas and it's 40 grand to repair the garage from fire damage. But I can't go to the bank because I don't have a car, so I walked in minus 40-degree weather to the car store and bought an electric car with all the money I made selling human organs off the black market. And it's really cute and it looks like a ladybug, and I drove it home and found out I can plug it in with the same charger as my phone. So I grabbed my dog and we went on a little mini road trip for about 47 minutes when my car died, because apparently you can't charge a car with a phone charger. So now I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere, genuinely considering eating my Cheez-Its that I brought as a snack while I wait for the tow truck to come, obviously. I woke up at 4 a.m. to borrow some of my roommate's peanut butter today, but when I opened it up, I saw he's been scooping it out the jar in a really strange way, which is really inefficient because there's just more surface area for it to dry out. But anyways, I wanted to make a peanut butter and spray cheese sandwich, but I felt like it needed some raspberries, so as I was taking the bread out of the fridge, I knocked out the raspberries. But I believe in the 5-minute rule instead of the 5-second rule, so I scooped them up and assembled my delicious sandwich, and I added the raspberries and a nice little squirt of easy cheese, and then I took a big old bite, but I started feeling really funny, and I thought I was having an allergic reaction to the peanut butter. But then I remembered the raspberries were not exactly the freshest, and I just ate an ounce of both. So I grabbed my computer and tried to call poison control, but they were closed because of Thanksgiving. And I was like, damn, I'm really gonna puke my guts out because some white dudes wanted to have a feast after a mass genocide in 1621. So anyways, I decided I should probably write my will. And I opened up my notes app and said all my money in my plant collection and my life-size Zendaya cardboard cutout will go to my dog. Thank you and goodbye forever, I guess. I went to Walmart today to buy some Ed Sheeran merch, aka cabbage, because that's probably what he smells like. But when I grabbed my cabbage and went to go pay, I didn't realize I was in the makeup section trying to pay for a cabbage, and they didn't know how to ring up my cabbage by any freaking ways. The cashier girlie dropped my cabbage, and I had to pick it up off the ground, and it was kind of musty looking. But regardless, I left the store and walked home with it, and I was about to start munching on it when it slipped out of my hands and dropped again, and my little cabbage baby started rolling down the hill, and I eventually caught up to it, and it looked beat up. But I picked it up and took a crunchy cabbage bite and decided it would be a good movie snack. So I brought my cabbage to the movie theater, and it was all fun until I remembered I was watching The Quiet Place. And you know what wasn't a quiet place? My insides after eating Walmart cabbage off the ground. It was brewing like kombucha mixed with dynamite in my stomach, and I had to leave and go home because it was dead silent in the theater and everyone heard my stomach rumbling. Oh. I don't know if you remember, but 5 years ago today, Harambe the gorilla was D-worded. So I decided to take a quick trip to infiltrate the Cincinnati Zoo, because I think he might still be alive and the whole thing was a publicity stunt. Anyways, when I got there, I did a bird call to attract some birds to land on me as a disguise, and it worked. A bunch of gay chickens landed on me and I had the perfect disguise. I was walking around looking like a zoo employee, which let me sneak into the employees only area with no suspicion. I was walking around in the back rooms when I tried saying hi to the employees, but they were busy cleaning fish doogie, so I stopped to pet some stingrays because I couldn't find Harambe's enclosure, and then I pet some sharks and they were so cool, just like a little bit slimy. And then I saw some jellyfish and they're so pretty, so I reached in to pet. Where am I?
The place you go when you pet a jellyfish, stupid.
Oh, well, let me see. Today I made a DIY North Korean driver's license by taking a picture with my iPad, and then I googled North Korean IDs and slapped my face on it. And I made it look all pretty by crossing this guy's name off and giving myself a fake name. But I didn't do this so I can get into a club or anything. I did it so that every day I can print a new one and change my birthday to today's date so I can get free stuff every single day like a Starbucks drink or make people be nice to me. Anyways, I first tested my ID at Olive Garden and the waiter got the whole restaurant singing happy birthday to me. But more importantly, I got a big old cannoli for free, baby. Anyways, next I went to Cheesecake Factory, and I showed my waitress my ID, thinking she would give me, I don't know, a cheesecake slice at Cheesecake Factory. But when she came to the table, she had all these cheesecake slices, and what did she give me? A bowl of berries. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But then she dropped the bill off and charged me $8 for the strawberries, when all I wanted was a slice of cheesecake for free, because they're like $10. So basically fake North Korean IDs don't work at Cheesecake Factory. Do you ever wonder how it went down for the first person to ever get their ear pierced? Like, how did that happen? Was it just like, What the booga booga?
You like a new piercing? Look, we're matching.
What the hell is a piercing? This is a stabbing. No, bitchuga. This is gonna be the next biggest thing in Pangea. Okay, sure, but why my ear? Why not literally any other part of my body?
Wooga booga, what do you do?
Oh my god, that's literally worse.
Wait, do you want one too?
What? No. So I bought this doggy camera to spy on my little worm creature, and when I was checking the cameras today, I saw that when she comes through her doggy door, a literal rat has been following her in. And not only that, I caught them canoodling, and I had to shoot a tree to her to break them up so I could go rescue her from Remy the rat in my house not paying rent. Anyways, I was horrified, and ever since, she's been giving me, rabies vibes, the way she's been kind of foaming at the mouth and trying to bite me. So I took her to a discount vet clinic at the back of a dollar store, and they weighed her little fat butt and then put her on the table. And I told them I think she has rabies, and that's when they pulled out 3 humongous needles. And then they took her into the back rooms, and I'm not an anti-vax or anything, but she was screaming so much I was like, bring my girl back. And I grabbed her and brought her home, and now she just has a little bit of rabies, but it's fine because she just likes to give me love bites. I woke up today and decided to go to Claire's to get my ear pierced because I saw they're doing it free if you give them your organs. So I walked in and I picked my piercing and then signed away the rights to my kidneys. And then they marked the ear that I wanted pierced, and then boom, they legally stabbed me. But anyways, I went home and I was so excited to take off my mask and see it, and they had pierced the mask string into my ear hole! And I started freaking out, of course, and needed to get it off. So I tried finding pliers or something, but I grabbed scissors and used them to cut the mask off so it doesn't rip my ear off. And then I looked in the mirror and I thought, maybe it looks cool. But it didn't. So I grabbed my computer to try and find the Claire's customer service line so I can sue them. But they closed at 6 p.m. and it was 6:30. So I went to bed and cried myself to sleep. And when I woke up, oh, it was infected. So now I think my ear is gonna fall off in 2 to 5 business days. So please let me know what music I should listen to before I have 1 ear left. Hi there, you're probably not gonna believe me, but you're watching first ever TikTok that's longer than a minute. And if you don't believe me, well, here is a timer, and I will give you a participation medal at the end. Okay, let's begin. But in the meantime, here's some monkey facts to keep you entertained. Okay, monkeys can understand written numbers and can even count. They can also understand basic parts of arithmetic and even, in rare cases, multiplication. Okay, next, Uncle Fat is a morbidly obese monkey in Thailand who gorged himself on junk food and soda that tourists had left behind. As the leader of this troop, the gluttonous monkey had subordinate monkeys bringing him goodies? Nah, there's no way this is real. What? He looked exhausted. Obese monkey Uncle Fatty, who became a star after being sent to fat camp, is missing and feared dead after falling off the wagon. What did I just stumble across? Oh my God. Okay, I've decided to take the rest of the time for this TikTok to do a documentary on Uncle Fatty, so... The Disappearance of Uncle Fatty, a Ben of the Week original. July 8th, 2019. The Sun reports the long-tailed macaque. Macaque. The long-tailed macaque, who ballooned to the size of 2 monkeys, was sent to a weight loss camp in 2017, but went back to his old ways once home in Bangkok, Thailand. Bangkok. Macaque. Uncle Fatty piled on the weight over his many years after being fed high-calorie food by tourists visiting the Kun Kala monument. Environmentalists monitoring his progress after weight loss camp say the last time he was seen alive was on February 26. Locals asked the police to check the CCTV footage, but have still been unable to identify the body. It is now feared that Uncle Fatty has either become lost, relocated to a new area, or even been killed. The chunky monkey's body has not been found! However, with local legends saying the forest reclaims bodies of the monkeys after they die. Aw. Kavinafat Mongol Tekachat, the president of the We Love Monkey Club. No! How is this real? President of the We Love Monkey Club said our staff always saw him sitting in the front of the monument every time they came to feed the pack, but one day he was just gone. Pause. What is the We Love Monkey Club? Documentary over. We Love Monkey Club. Oh, it literally doesn't. There's no We Love Monkey Club. Okay, but what is this video? Who loves pizza? Let's go to the pizzeria. Yeah. Mamma mia, I love the pizza. As you sit here with 20 seconds left on the TikTok clock, did you think this is where this TikTok was gonna go? Did you think you were gonna watch a documentary about a fat monkey in Bangkok, Thailand, and then watch me dance to a song by Cheeky Monkey Club? No. But here we are, and here's your medal. I'm proud of you. Welcome to the family. Oh my God. What the hell? Do you ever scroll through Instagram all day like a Cocomelon iPad baby until you see that you're somehow on Christian Mingle and you've matched with the mom from Wizards of Waverly Place? But then when you switch back to Instagram, it's down and you're like, what am I gonna do now? Well, that happened to me, so I thought, well, may as well join the Amish. So I went to their website, which I was surprised they even had in the first place, and I signed myself up and gave them my address and my social security number, which I didn't really know why they needed that, but anyways, later that day someone rang my doorbell and slipped a business card under the door, and when I picked it up it had a number on it, so I texted the number, and I decided to ask them, so what's it like being in the Amish? And they replied, we are in Spain. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't know they had the Amish in Spain. So you know what I did? I booked the next flight to Barcelona to try and join them. But when I finally got there, I turned my phone off airplane mode and the text came in, and it turns out he actually said they are in pain, not Spain, because they have no electricity, and, well, sucks to be y'all, I'm in Spain. Ole, 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 ole. I was bored today, so I went to the mall to shoot boba tapiocas at strangers. But I didn't think I would actually hit someone, and they started chasing me, so I panicked and ran into the closest stairwell, and just when I thought I was safe, I somehow managed to drop my phone down the middle of the stairs. And I freaked out and ran to it to check if it was okay. And thankfully it was, because I had my Ultra Impact case from Casetify. The 4 shock-absorbing corner bumpers keep my phone safe, while still feeling sleek and not bulky. And now that I know that I can drop my phone from over 9 feet, I just drop my phone everywhere. Whenever I don't feel like bending down because my knees crack like celery every time I bend over to plug my phone into the wall, I just drop it on the floor and it's 100% fine. And guess what? You can get your own for 15% off with the code 15HighBend. And together we can have knees like Megan Thee Stallion. I was inhaling my daily bag of hot chips and then popping blackheads with my flaming hot fingers. And then I looked in the mirror and was like, oh, why is my skin falling off the bone like a nice rotisserie chicken? Thankfully, that was me from the past, very terrible skincare routine. Because now my skincare routine is so sacred to me, and that's all thanks to Biotherm Repair. First off, this stuff feels so good that my skin feels as soft and nourished as a little buttered up baby. Not saying that I put babies in butter. I don't know what to say. Anyway, it's not only amazing for your skin, but it's created eco-consciously, and its key ingredients are all sourced from nature. And guess what? You weren't created in a top secret lab, you came from nature too. I'm not gonna get into exactly how that happened, cause, anyways, I highly recommend Biotherm Repair to keep a natural barrier, keeping your skin healthy and beautiful. Today I was on a romantic date with my non-existent girlfriend at the park, when I saw someone had left a perfectly good laptop on the ground. So I walked over and picked it up, and I tried pressing some keys and turning it on, but it was dead. So I brought the laptop home so I could give it some juice, and that's when the screen turned on, and there was this game called Isles of Glory, and I was like, okay, how do I play? And then it asked for my location, and I thought, alright. But just that very second, my doorbell rang, and when I checked the door, I got this box from No Frills, and when I opened it, it was full of bananas and wires, and I was like, wait a minute, is this how I play the game? So I went over to my computer, and I stabbed the wires into the bananas, and then put the wired bananas into my computer, and I can't even make this up, it literally worked with the electrical signals of my hand. And for the next 48 hours, I was playing this game non-stop, squeezing these bananas, because it turns out you can win up to 10 million PC Optimum points to redeem for all sorts of things. And I got so excited that at one point I squeezed the banana too hard, and anyways, I squirted banana all over my computer. But you can go play yourself and win points, but only for a limited time. I was watching my comfort movie Pitch Perfect on HBO Max for the 7th time today because it's the only thing that makes me feel alive. But then as I was watching it, I got the idea that since I'm a talentless blob of bones and skin, I should learn how to play the cups. So I grabbed a bunch of wine glasses to spice it up, and I invented the glass song, and I spent days studying Pitch Perfect on HBO Max, perfecting my talent so that I could get so good so I could perform for the world to see. So I started to print out flyers, and then I went to the first stop of my glass song world tour in Paris. And when I got there, I stuck flyers everywhere to really get the word out about my show. But then as I was doing my sound checks on the day of my performance, I got a little too carried away and... So anyways, I'm just gonna stick to watching Pitch Perfect on HBO Max, and you should too. Today I pretended to be in the hospital to get my celebrity crush to notice me. And here's how I did it. First I was editing my name onto a hospital band, and one of the rows said sex. So I said yes, winky face. And then I walked over to my printer that I haven't used in years, and I thought it was gonna light on fire, and somehow that old mama worked and it printed out my band. So I cut it out and put it on my wrist.
Drip, my drip, yeah.
And then I tore my bed apart and I ripped the bed sheet off my bed to wear as a little hospital robe. Then once I had that, I pulled my bed off and dragged it over to a blank wall. Anyways, then I made my room look like a hospital by taping hospital signage. And then I laid down in my hospital bed and I made the finishing touches with a phone charger, and then I put some headphones in my nose to really pull it all together. Then I finally took my Snapchat and I added a black and white filter to be all dramatic. And I made the caption, "Down bad, wish I had a big booty bee to give me CPR." And I sent it to her. Then I ripped all the cords out and the bracelet too, and I put my shirt back on. And I was waiting around when she finally replied. And when I opened it, she said, I opened my window for the first time in weeks today to collect a bunch of my fly friends. But they were being very lazy, so I decided to harvest them and put them to work. For example, say I don't want to pay for my $21 breakfast burrito, I simply call my fly babies into battle and leave a body on the plate when I'm finished. Sometimes, for good measure, I'll even put one in the water. Then I call over the manager and tell him that there is not only a fly in my food, but I am gravely allergic to the fly. Then when the bill comes, I change the total to a negative and then they pay me back. Another great reason why you should always carry a bag of dead flies with you is for retail therapy. I want to treat my mom with some makeup, so I simply find a tester and drop a quick friend on it. Then I take it to the front counter and tell them that I could have put a fly in my mom's eye. Then they give it to me for free and I go about my day. But guess what? It even works at Olive Garden. After I'm seated, finally, I get my free breadsticks and I take one into the bathroom and sacrifice one of my babies for the cause. Then once the fly is on the breadstick, I exit the bathroom and walk over to the management and tell them that there is a fly on my breadstick. And boom, refund. So next time you're looking at the poor lost souls on your windowsill, just say, come on, man, it's time to scam. So I was trying to watch that Luca movie on this sketchy website until I saw this ad that said some lady named Gertrude was a hot single in my area. And I thought, oh my god, it's a heat wave. I need to get Gertrude hydrated before she gets heat stroke. I clicked the picture and immediately 20 programs started downloading on my computer. And I was like, wow, Gertrude must be in STEM or computer science or something. Then all of a sudden I looked down and I had a text from Gertrude and she said that she needs fluids immediately. So I told her that I'm coming and I asked her where. And after she gave me the address, I got in my car and I drove to the address, which happened to be an IKEA. But anyway, she said to come to the bedding section and my GPS took me to the exact room, but no one was there and I was getting a little bored, so I decided to lay down for a quick nap. But when I woke up, IKEA was closed and I got up and tried to leave, but that's when I realized my wallet and keys were stolen. And I was really freaked out, but I found the exit, and as soon as I got outside, I saw some figure standing behind the trees. He started approaching me and I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, was that your girl? It was too late because the man was angry and he attacked me.
You bring the corsets, we'll bring the cinches. No one wants a waist over
9 inches.
so what the makeup contains like poison.
At least your complexion will bring all the boys in.
I was at a huge party with all my friends, but they aren't really fun. Except for you, Bob. And I was wishing I had a fun skater group to hang out with. So I decided to grab my passport. Not that passport, but my Tinder passport. It lets me see and match profiles from across the world for free. And now I have a whole group of friends, and I don't need these bozos anymore. Now the only thing I need is a good skater fit. I dropped my phone almost as much as I was dropped as a baby. Like, I think it's actually made of butter. I basically have a butter phone with a butter. Anyways, I really needed a case for it, but I wanted something special, so I used this app called Caseify to make a custom case with every picture of frogs that I have in my whole camera roll. And it was really easy. I just took a little frog with a little leaf, beep, bop, boop, bang, he's on the case. I took a picture of a frog with a little watering can, and beep, bop, boom, he's on the case, baby. Then every other frog, ding dong, the package was at my door. And I was so excited, because getting packages is like my #1 source of serotonin at this point. And when I opened it, the packaging was like a little present from me to me, because I have no one special to me to give me presents with. Anyways, I love my little frog case, and you can make your own and get 20% off with the code 20HighBen. Thank you, Caseify. I was cleaning my room today when I found out that I just hit 10 million followers. And to celebrate, I wanted to give each and every one of you $1. Now, I don't have $10 million, but you know who does? The bank. So I went over there and had the idea to R to the O to the B it, but quickly realized that I get too anxious simply going to Starbucks and ordering for myself without nearly peeing my pants. So walking into a bank to commit a crime is kind of out of the question. So my second idea was to make an Ed Sheeran disguise that is so convincing it looks like a deep fake. So I taped it to my face and I used this simple hack that works on any ATM machines where you can type in the number of the address where the ATM is, like 900 for example, and then it'll think it's undergoing maintenance and spit out all its cash. So I tried it and boom, I suddenly had $20,000. And I stopped at each and every ATM punching the code, getting racks when I remembered they have security cameras, and even though I was disguised as Ed Sheeran, I wanted to be safe, so I gently disconnected the camera from the ATM and put it on the ground. And for the rest of the night, I'd never felt more alive, single-handedly taking down the greedy banks to steal from customers every single day. I was calculated, unstoppable, careful. And I did it all right under the police's noses. It became addicting. Every single ATM was like a new hit. And the money, oh, it was endless. Ed Sheeran had to go on live TV to say he wasn't the thief. And I had gotten away with it. Oh, wait, just kidding. They actually got me. Well, at least I still have money for bail, and I still have 10 million of you guys. Wait. 10 Today, I snuck an AirTag tracking device into an Ed Sheeran concert so that I could somehow stick it onto him to track him down, because that's for the FBI to know. Anyways, randomly BTS opened for him, and then Eddie was about to come on stage, so I had the genius idea to use an extra mask and fashion it into a slingshot so that when he performed, I walked up to the front of the stage, locked onto my target, and bam! It flew through the air. And now I know there's no way of it sticking to him. However, they have to pack up the stage, and it's probably gonna travel with him. So anyways, I saw Doja Cat and Lil Nas X, and then left the concert and went home. Then the next morning, I was getting a reading on the AirTag finder, and it said that he was in Las Vegas. So I flew to Las Vegas, and when I got to the airport, I thought I had already found him, but the thing is, I had a little bit of spicy grape juice on the plane, so I stumbled over to the man and shouted, "Ed!" And it was just a random man. So, yeah. Today I was in my car when I saw that the Amish were doing a pop-up shop, so obviously I had to go check it out because I don't believe that they're real. And when I pulled up to Simply Amish, I put my mask on because I don't want to give the entire colony the plague or something. And when I walked in, the employee was on a computer, and I was like, that's strange, not even supposed to have electricity. But I was walking around, and at first it seemed like a really expensive furniture store, and I was like, damn, these Amish are gonna be ballin'. But then I came across this door that was half open, which led to this scary basement that had all of these artifacts and paintings of Jesus, and then randomly a Rick and Morty Chia Pet, and some cards that I don't think are Amish appropriate, and then a Queen's Gambit board game, which... wouldn't that just be chess? Anyways, I felt the need to buy something so the Amish don't steal my organs. I got one of those popping toys where you put it on the ground and... Anyways, when I paid and got the bag, I noticed they slipped a key in it with a note saying, "Need escape?" And then some coordinates, which I looked up online and found out they lead to their colony. So I think they tried recruiting me, and let me know if I should drive up there and join them. So there was this guy on the train today who offered me 100 bananas if I gave him a foot massage with mustard. I didn't do it, obviously, and I'll take a lie detector test to prove it. Okay, I did not give a foot massage to a random person. No! You're gonna give me the bananas, right? Today, I went to the airport with a pregnancy test because I want to go to Paris, but to fly there, you need to take a test. However, the website didn't specifically say COVID test, so I thought I'd try bringing a pregnancy test to see what would happen. And if that doesn't work, I also did a DNA test, which told me I'm anemic, which is of no surprise to me because every time I stand up for 2 seconds, Anyways, I pulled up to the airport and pulled out the test, but I remembered what you have to do for a pregnancy test. So I snuck away into the bathroom and looked for an empty stall, and then when I got in, I took out the test and put it under some water instead of pee because I'm not a maniac. And then I waited a bit for the line to show up, and once it said I was negative, I brought it up to the gate and gave them the test and my passport, and they let me on the flight to Paris. And I was like, no way, that actually worked. And then I realized you probably just saw my vaccination card, and that's all you need instead of a test. So anyways, I got on my flight, and now I'm in Paris, and I got 1 pregnancy test left. So if you're my baby mama whose name rhymes with Yandea, my phone number is 818. Last night I went to Chuck E. Cheese to lie and say it's my birthday to get free pizza. And it worked, baby! But the place was terrifying and the food was even scarier. And after a few bites, I started feeling sick, like I had worms in my stomach. So I got up and I stumbled out of the restaurant and I went home. Then the next day, I scheduled an emergency Zoom doctor's visit, and he told me that I'm lactose intolerant. And I was like, what the hell? I don't lactose, I got all 10, baby. But then he told me to put my feet away, and I was like, you're right, you should be paying me for this, not the other way around, buddy. And then he started telling me you can't eat pizza anymore. But his video started to cut out, but it's okay, because I know what lactose intolerance is. I can't have bread anymore! So I got rid of all my bread and dumped all of that fart food right in the trash. And then I grabbed some milk and chugged nothing but pure milk for a few days. And you know what? It was really good for a bit until I started feeling a storm brewing 10 times stronger than what Chuck E. Cheese did to me. So I immediately ran to the bathroom and... So apparently lactose intolerance is the milk one, but at least I don't lactose, baby! Today, I went on a romantic date in France.
Just kidding.
I ate a plain bagel with mold, but I am tired of being single. So I grabbed my phone and downloaded Tinder, so I could use the passport feature to meet people from across the world for free. All of a sudden, my phone dinged, and when I checked it, I had a match with Remy. We started chatting about our love for cheese, and I don't even need to go to Paris now, because I have a video date with Remy, thanks to Tinder Passport. Wish me luck. So I don't know if you saw, but Lil Nas X released these new Nike shoes that have a drop of real human blood in them. But I thought the colors were cute, so I ordered a pair of them. And while I was waiting around for them to arrive, I saw a lot of Karens were mad about it. And I was trying to figure out why, because having spare human blood on you at all times would be so helpful. Like if I was ever, I don't know, walking back from Taco Bell and a Toyota Prius smashes into me, and I'm lying on the ground like, dang, this is kinda awkward. Also, I'd probably be dying and need a blood transfusion. In that moment, I could just pop my shoe off and use my shoe blood and be completely fine. Then I could grab my food that I dropped from being hit by a car and find a nice bench to eat my taco on. Until I realize I'm currently on church property and I'm wearing my Lil Nas X Satan shoes and So I bought this busted robot vacuum off of Wish, and it hardly works, like, at all. But I felt bad that it's trapped in my house all day and has to eat these nuts off the floor. Has to eat both of these nuts. Anyways, I was always wondering what would happen if I just set it loose in the street. So I took it outside and set it free by bringing it outside and walking it. And I got a few weird looks from people, but they weren't walking their vacuum pets, which makes them look like the idiots. Anyways, I was following it and I noticed it was actually leading me to this warehouse. And I was really scared to go in, but Bofa brought me here, so I opened this huge door, which led me down a weird hallway. And that's when I realized little Bofa had taken me to the NASA headquarters, because I was hearing some weird, strange song playing. And water began to pour in, and I started panicking as it started to fill up. And that's when I heard a voice on the intercom say, "What do you feel like?" And that's when it clicked and I said, "An astronaut in the ocean." And that is how I was selected to become the first TikToker chosen by NASA to go to space. Today I thought it'd be funny to use the Wendy's nuts joke at Wendy's. So I said, Do you like Wendy's?
When these nuts slap your face?
I was in total shock. Then he said,
"Yeah, we get that all the time. How does it feel, loser?"
The joke I had been preparing for days had been used against me and shattered my world. Then the employee said,
"Well, are you gonna order anything?"
I said, a chocolate frosty, please?
Choco lick these frosty nuts.
I started crying. There was nothing to do but cry. I knew it was going to be 99 cents, so I asked, "Do you have Apple Pay?" And he replied with,
"Apple Pay these nuts."
And that one didn't even make sense, but it hurt. It hurt so bad. I had to make a decision in this moment if the frosty was worth the humiliation. So I pulled up, and when he handed me the frosty, I went to go grab it, and I was at the Tokyo Olympics gym today training for all the sports I'm gonna get a gold medal in. But in the middle of me training, this Edna Mode looking person came over to me and I thought they were gonna say you aren't allowed to put the big balls in your shirt and steal them. So I was getting ready to sprint away, but they actually just complimented my phone case. And I was like, "Oh, did you mean my Caseify case with fun little moons on it that keeps my phone safe while also looking cute? Available in so many fun different customizable designs?" But I realized I didn't actually say it out loud, so I was like, "Thanks." And then they asked if my phone case had moons on it because I like astrology. And I was like, "Yeah." And then they were like, "Oh, what sign are you?" And then I told them I'm a virgin. Oh. And then I realized I meant to say Virgo, and I just made this person think I've never gotten any action. Anyways, you can get 15% off your very own Caseify case with the code 15HighBen. They are great, and I highly recommend. I'm gonna go cry in the corner now. Bye. I've been waiting for a year, but today I finally got a PS5. Anyways, today I bought a PS5 off of this sketchy guy online because I really wanted one, but they're sold out everywhere. So I messaged him and asked how much money he wants for it, and he replied saying he accepts payment in other forms, and I was like, he must mean Bitcoin. So I went upstairs and grabbed my mom's credit card and bought 200 Bitcoins, which apparently was a lot of real world money, but whatever, because I needed that PlayStation. So I went outside and hopped in my car and drove over to the address he gave me, and when I was pulling up, I got really scared because the address was a hut made out of sticks in the middle of the forest. And as I got closer, I saw the PS5 on the ground, so I went over to grab it. But that's when I heard a voice say, "Hey there, wanna show me your toes?" So I grabbed the box and ran to my car and just barely escaped with my life and my PS5. And when I finally got home, I couldn't wait to open it just to see that this man didn't sell me any PS5. He sold me a Printer Station 5. I was joining some random Zoom calls today so I could make some friends. But after accidentally joining an Amish colony Zoom, I accidentally joined this Zoom call with this guy in it. And I was like, "Who's that?" Until I realized I had joined a call with Dr. Fauci, the chief medical advisor to the president. And then I looked in the mirror to make sure I didn't look like a cockroach. And then as soon as I looked presentable, I grabbed my laptop and brought it out to the living room. And then I joined the call and I was like, "How are you, Dr. Fauci?" And he said,
"I'm good, Ben. Nice to be with you. How you doing?"
And then I froze and tried to think of like a question about COVID or something. And that's when I remembered my uncle texting me out of the blue saying that there's pee in the vaccine. So I was like, let me set the record straight. So I asked him,
the vaccine looks like it's just a few drops of water, and I feel like a lot of people don't really know what's actually going on in there.
What vaccine did you get, Ben?
I'm Moderna.
I got Moderna too. So
okay.
So when you and I got injected, what happened? It went into the muscle. The body recognizes the protein of that virus and neutralizes it.
I feel like that was like a crash course and a PhD in biology, but it all made sense. I figured it out.
Well, you heard it from the White House and Bet of the Week. The vaccines are safe. Go get it, please.
Oh no, I hope I don't fall.
I was enjoying some olives and yogurt when a piece of paper slipped through my mail slot. And when I went to go check it, a huge box flew through the slot and hit me in the head. That's when I remembered I ordered this game called Incoherent from Amazon at like 2 a.m. But nevertheless, I was so excited to play it. But I realized I don't have any friends around me to play with. So I decided to call some of my besties instead. I dialed the number and I was like, hey bestie, and they said, this is
Taco Bell?
So I was like, okay, first round, neck key Minaj.
Please don't call this number again.
And I said, no silly, it's Nicki Minaj. What about pressed feet tin?
Yeah, we're taking your phone number to the police.
And I was like, no, it's breastfeeding, duh. The police are really coming home. So I've always wondered what would happen if you put a Tide Pod in your dishwasher instead of like the dish soap pod thing. Like, would it explode or like what would happen? So today I decided to sacrifice my Android phone to record it. And I turned the flash on and put it in my dishwasher. And then once it was recording inside there, I closed it up and started the dishwasher on the low cycle. But after a few minutes, it started shaking a lot. And I noticed that there was water leaking and dripping out the bottom. So I panicked and I canceled it and I opened it up and I took the phone out and somehow it survived and was still working. So I played the video to see what happened and... Every time you're not running, Ed Sheeran gets closer. I don't know if you've seen those comments on TikTok of beautiful women asking if there are any boys here, but today I remembered I am a boy, so I decided to investigate and saw that she was asking me to go to her bio. So I clicked the link in her bio and it instantly froze my iPad and I couldn't close the app or anything until a thing popped up asking for my phone number and credit card number to fix it. And so obviously I was like, thank God, a solution. So I grabbed my credit card from my wallet and typed it in, but then after I did that, my iPad fully shut off and started smoking. But I was like, okay, thank God they reminded me what my credit card number is. So I went to the Apple store to go replace all my Apple products that are now fried, but I got distracted and tried to make the wallpapers minions kissing, and I played some random rats dancing on all the iPhones. But then an employee yelled at me, so I fled with no iPhone, and now I'm trying to catch a bird so I can use it as a carrier pigeon to talk to people since I have no electronic devices left. So today was April Fool's, and I got a doorbell notification, which I thought was strange because I'm not expecting any packages. And when I checked it, I saw a box sitting outside my house. I was like, what the heck is a baguette? That sounds like the opposite of a... You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I picked it up and brought it inside and realized it makes vegetable pasta. And I was so excited, so I opened it up, but... there was no baguette. There was just my hair. And I started panicking because I was like, how did they get my human hair? And that's when I realized that a month ago, I cut my own hair and put it online as a real Michael Jackson wig and sold it to someone for $5,000. But they probably got my address from the return address on the package. Anyways, I looked in the hair and found a note saying I need to lock my door because... I was making sushi with raw chicken instead of raw fish, but I accidentally dropped it on the floor. And when I bent over to pick it up, I saw my legs and wondered if I could wax them so they would feel like 2 slippery hot dogs. So I canceled my chicken sushi, and once I was done cleaning it all up, I went to my garage to find a bottle of Gorilla Glue to wax my legs. But here's the big old catch. I can't make a single noise waxing my legs, because if I wake up my dog, she will literally pee herself in the beanbag chair. So with that in mind, I grabbed some plastic wrap and put the glue on it and made a little waxing strip. Then I knelt down and put the strip on slowly, and at first I was like, this isn't too bad. It just kind of feels kind of numb, and then it started burning, and I realized I had to do it now, so I ripped it off, and it didn't get the wax off! I panicked and I tried to wipe it off, but it just shredded the paper towel and got even stickier. And also my dog woke up and peed herself. But at least the sushi was kind of fire. Today I went to go get the Moderna vaccine, and it hurt a little bit when they gave it to me, but afterwards I went home and I took the band-aid off. But as I was peeling it off, I noticed something hard was underneath. And when I pulled it out and looked at it, I saw a microchip. I'd been microchipped. I thought that was fake. But I had to get to the bottom of this. So I grabbed a microchip adapter and put it in my phone, and a folder came up saying, "We see you." And in it was a picture that said, "Meet Candace at 42 Wallaby Way at 2 p.m. And I was really scared, but the next day I went to the address on my bike, and it ended up taking me to this huge building, and I found my way in. But as I was looking around, there was no one there, so I shouted, "Candace, who's Candace?" But all of a sudden the lights went out, and I felt something grab me. Next thing I knew, I woke up in a chair tied up. I was so confused, and I shouted, "Who is Candace? What is Candace?" Then out of the darkness, he appeared, and he said,
Candace
I was so bored today I googled myself, and I noticed there was a tab saying Ben of the Week height. And it said that I was 5'7", which is slander because I'm 6 feet tall. Look, I literally measured it. I am 6 feet tall! Like, I can drop my phone with a Caseify case for my head, and it survived. Not only did my phone survive with my Caseify case, but the case is super fun too. They have lots of different designs, which are super fun. And like, look, here's Dula Peep with hers. Look at me and my twin, Dula Peep. But I have this fun shipping label one, which I tried putting in a mailbox once, but then I realized it's not a real shipping label, it's just a case, and I had to fish my phone out of the mailbox with tongs. Anyways, I highly recommend getting one since I see some of y'all raw dogging that iPhone with no protection, no case, no nothing. And they come in super fun packaging and have free little sanitizing wipes for you stinky mamas. Anyways, you can get 20% off with code 20HighBen. Okay, bye! I like to collect mold off of my old moldy bread and put it in a baggie that I keep in my pocket, so whenever I'm out and about at an overpriced restaurant getting an overpriced $15 acai bowl, I can order one and then eat the whole thing, and then once I'm done, I take out my mold babies and pop one in so I can take it to the register and go full Karen mode and show them the mold, and then boom, baby! Refund. I've done this in the past with dead flies at Olive Garden, but I like having bread in my pocket instead of dead decaying flies. Anyways, I wanted to get my mom some makeup, so I tried it at Sephora by putting some mold in the makeup, and then I brought the sample to the manager, and I got a free one. And then I sanitized my hands to get the mold off, of course. Anyways, after Sephora, I really wanted some tortilla chips, so I grabbed a bag, opened it up, popped some mold in, and then boom! I took it to the cashier, and I got a refund, baby. And then when I got home, I took a bite and forgot to take the mold out! Boom, baby, mold poisoning. Today I made a fake plane ticket with my DIY skills so I could go to the Tokyo Olympics, because I think I'm really good at gymnastics. But the problem is Japan is only letting actual Olympic athletes go there because of COVID. So I finessed the system by buying a random plane ticket to Alabama so I could get into the airport. So once I got to the airport, I found the flight that was headed to Tokyo. And then I walked over to the gate to sit down, and I crossed off Alabama on my ticket. And then I used it while they were boarding, and I managed to board the flight to Tokyo. And after I took my seat, I was just sitting there realizing I'm really going to Japan, huh? And then we took off, and I was enjoying the flight until I looked at the safety manual and saw that I was on one of those malfunctioning Boeing 737 MAX planes. You know, the ones that decide they want to be a car while in midair. And that's when I started feeling really bad turbulence. And then I remembered my phone wasn't on airplane mode. And then that's when it got really bad because the plane started falling apart. And all of a sudden the oxygen mask came down, and I just accepted that the last song I'll have ever listened to in my life was Ed Sheeran. Anyways, the crowd was getting closer and closer. And oh, I actually just fell asleep. Anyways, now I'm in Tokyo. I was enjoying some banana on the cob and scrolling through TikTok when I saw someone playing this Mario Kart in real life game. So I took my friend's credit card and ordered it. But when it came in the mail and I actually got to open it up and play it, the game was about as fun as listening to Ed Sheeran out of your own free will. So not fun at all. But you know what? It was okay, because I bought it for the only purpose of seeing if I could take it through a drive-thru and ordering something. So I strapped my credit card to it and a walkie-talkie so that I can order through the microphone. And I taped it to Luigi really good and then drove all the way over to Popeyes. And it was time to release Luigi and see if I could successfully order a fry. I set everything up, and then just like that, the little Italian was off. But as he drove up to the microphone, I didn't think they could see him, so at first I did some donuts to get their attention. And then as I was spinning him around, they were like... And I was about to tell them my order when I saw there was a car coming into the drive-thru. I panicked and grabbed my Switch to try and drive away, but it said it was disconnected, so I ran over to the drive-thru, and our favorite plumber Luigi was killed by a Mitsubishi. Anyways, the funeral is on Monday. Please comment your condolences if you would like to attend. I'm not naming any names, but it'd be a lot of people. A lot of people getting pushed if I was in red light, green light with them. It'd be... I was picking the ticks out of my dog's fur so I could collect them and inject them with acid until they popped. But just before I could even get to doing that, my phone went off. And when I checked it, my friends had invited me to go rollerblading with them. So I dropped what I was doing and I met them at the roller derby rink. Now, I paid $10 to rent some skates, but listen, these babies were impossible to put on, and when I stood up, it felt like I had fettuccine noodles for legs. But it was actually really fun, except there was a small child who kept trying to chase me, and I'm allergic to small children, so I tried to avoid him at all costs. But then he got too close to me, and I ran him over. And in the distance, I heard some lady who I think was his mom screaming at me about her little overgrown fetus. So I left the roller rink and escaped into the mall, but I could still hear her screaming in the distance, so I started running. And then that's when I saw a security guard and told him that there was a psychopath chasing me, and thankfully he snuck me out of the mall, and turns out she got arrested later for biting an employee. So... I was putting my clothes in the dishwasher today because I broke my washing machine when I tried washing dishes in it last week because my dishwasher was broken in the first place. But anyways, I was in the kitchen and heard a snowball hit my window, and when I looked out the window, my elderly neighbor Myrtle had put up a sign that said, "Check your mail." Now, as threatening as that seemed, I was so excited because her son owns the website where you watch Corn with a P, and in the past, she's given me like $1,000 at Christmas and a cute little picture of herself. So I went to the door and grabbed the card, and when I opened it, I noticed that this time there was no gift, which is fine and all, but also the picture she had sent me had some man's hand in the corner, and on the card there was weird capitalization, so I highlighted the capital letters and it spelled "help me," and I started freaking out. So I drove over to her house, which was 50 feet away. Sorry, Greta Thunberg. And I was gonna save her from being choked, but when I got there was a van outside that said 50 Shades of Play, and I think that's what Myrtle's into. So now I'm traumatized. I can only fall asleep to loud noises, so tonight I played some mukbang videos on full volume. And I also tried blasting that one girl who goes, "Ah," in all of her songs, and I was about to go to sleep like a baby when I heard a banging at my door, and I realized it was probably my insane neighbor who was literally named Karen. But when I got up and put clothes on and walked down to the door, there was nothing but an envelope that said, "Use these." So I brought it inside and opened it up, and she had sent me her nasty, crusty, earwax-covered AirPods that smelled like Fritos. And at first I was like, this is a human rights violation, and I'm probably diseased now. Until I saw the opportunity to suit up in a hazmat suit and rinse the brain caca off of them so that they look new, and then I could sell them to someone in my neighborhood for a profit. So I made a listing for like $150, and this one dude said he would buy it if I could meet him by the nuclear waste runoff. So I Ubered over there, and when I got there, I saw a bunch of money just sitting under some leaves, and I was like, that's not the safest way to do a transaction. But regardless, I just sprinkled the AirPods by it and then went home with $150 in like 4 different currencies. But it's okay, because I just ordered a bass-boosted speaker with the money from the AirPods. And when it comes, I'm gonna have a big old party and blast music with a speaker courtesy of Karen. So I was completely legally watching a movie today when I won an iPhone 13, and all I had to do was enter my social security number, so I typed it in. And then a week later, while I was blending my candles together to make a mega candle, I got a notification that a package was delivered. So I ran downstairs to grab it, and the packaging was a little strange, but I cracked open the box, which apparently was for the iPhone 14. And then when I opened up that box, they had sent me a toy car, and I was like, I know I didn't just give away my identity for a Hot Wheel. Then I realized it's actually a phone, so I decided to hang up on the 911 operator that I had panic called, and I checked out my new phone, and it was pretty cool until I realized it was a used phone. And I think the previous owner was someone's grandma, because I saw in her text she wasn't just having booty calls, but a whole booty conference. Now, I didn't want this phone anymore after going into the images and seeing Granny's Milkies, so I picked it up one last time and checked her contact section and noticed she had her address on there. So I grabbed the phone and biked over to her house, which happened to be only an hour away. And when I got there, Granny is on her Jeff Bezos type beat. So I decided to put my name in her contacts, and then I threw the phone over the fence, and I'll let you know if I slide.
Hoi allemaal, ik vond het wel weer eens tijd voor een stage-update. Ik heb na 2 weken nu eindelijk besloten om mijn kamer op te ruimen en schoon te maken. Er lag nog allemaal kleding van de vorige teamleider in mijn kamer en die heb ik nu allemaal weggegooid. In het huisje is nu mijn raam, het gordijn en het licht gelukkig gemaakt. Mijn stage zelf is alleen op dit moment echt super saai. Het programma is namelijk elke week hetzelfde en ik heb al meerdere keren geprobeerd om het programma op te leuken met verschillende activiteiten, bijvoorbeeld in het zwembad en buiten en binnen. Maar niks lijkt te werken en de kinderen hebben gewoon liever zin om in het zwembad te zitten met hun ouders dan echt naar een activiteit te komen. Hierdoor voel ik me erg nutteloos op het park en gaat mijn motivatie steeds meer omlaag. Ik zit nu vooral steeds af te tellen op mijn vrije dagen en dat hoort natuurlijk niet, want je stage hoort gewoon leuk te zijn. Ik heb ook niet het idee dat ik nu echt heel veel leer en dat hoort natuurlijk wel. Vandaag komt een nieuwe teamleider, dus ik hoop dat hij oplossingen heeft voor de problemen. En als het niet zo is, dan ga ik een overplaatsing aanvragen en in het allerergste geval terug naar Nederland. Als je twijfelt om een stage te nemen in Spanje, zou ik het wel tenminste proberen, want al mijn vrienden hebben het wel echt super leuk. Ik heb alleen denk ik geen geluk gehad met waar ik ben geplaatst. Dit was dan alweer het einde van de video en volg me voor meer stage-updates. Doei doei!
Today, I accidentally burned out my house because I was boiling Listerine and Red Bull to make delicious tea when I saw a wasp had waltzed into my house. And I'm extremely allergic, so I grabbed a container to try and capture him so I could send him back to hell. And I got him, but then I realized if I try and get the lid on, he's gonna fly out and sting me, and then I will end up in hell and he will haunt me forever. So I dropped it and I ran and grabbed a piece of paper, and then I put it back on and slid it under. And I actually managed to pull out the paper, and I had successfully abducted him. So I put him on a plate and microwaved him until he lit on. Just kidding. I realized I'll definitely go to hell if I do that, so I let led him outside and carefully put him down and released the hatches, and he kicked it away. So then he got up and chased me inside, and I closed the door and I thought it was safe. And oh, I forgot to turn the stove burner off, and...
I saw Top Gun 2. I have never seen Top Gun 1, but I still understood the whole idea. Was Miles Teller sexy in the movie? Yeah. Was that the whole reason I saw the movie? Yes. My only grievance with Top Gun 2 is that there were far too many female characters. The movie as a whole was, like, fine, but I just, like, couldn't get over the fact that Tom Cruise looks like Tig Notaro. There were also so many moments where I was like, it would be incredibly natural for Miles Teller and Tom Cruise to kiss. Tom Cruise about to get his gun popped. Call that Glock slop. The tension between Miles Teller and Ted Cruz was the tension between Miles Teller and Ted Cruz could have been cut with a knife. Did Miles change my opinion on mustaches? He might have.
Today I went to the fair so I could try and go on that tilt-a-whirl ride that was about to collapse in this TikTok that I saw. But when we were standing in line for it, I noticed some sparks fly as it flew by, and a literal screw had been sharded out. And I was like, well, the Juice WRLD concert's gonna be really good after this. Anyways, we got on and found our seats and put the thing on, and I don't know what they did, but they had cranked that speed up to the max. And you know what? It surprisingly didn't fall apart, but instead I just passed out like a little infant that can't stay awake. Anyways, I got off and was feeling kind of hungry, and I saw the cotton candy booth, so I went over to it, and they gave some to us for free because they were so nice. And I was enjoying my cotton candy when my friends dragged me onto this swingy thingy. So I reluctantly gave the dude my ticket and found my seat. And once it started moving, I realized that cotton candy and motion sickness is a terrible mix. They were swinging our butts around this thing like no tomorrow, baby. Because I threw up. And it sprayed on a worker. And I'm never allowed back.
Well, welcome to my vlog. The whole point is that I'm prioritizing creation over consumption, and I'm trying to keep myself accountable. So this is where we're starting. I'm literally just going to walk you through my day-to-day life, like every day. And then we're just gonna talk about some fun stuff along the way, I think. So please let me know if there's anything in particular that you'd like me to cover, to talk about, to show you, or otherwise. I'm more than happy to do literally anything. So this first one's obviously a little bit shorter, but in the future it's gonna be like a full day of like all the things that are happening in Gavin's life. And I think it's kind of fun. Just to keep me accountable. You know, it's summer break for me, and I just want to do things. I want to show you guys things that are cool, that I like. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to actually do it this time. And to people who like my old content, I'm also going to be doing some more of that at some point in the future. But it's just going to be interspliced with like vlog content. So it's like it's the best of both worlds, kind of. That's all I got, and I will see you in the first actual vlog that isn't just me talking about the vlog. Woo!
My favorite thing to do right now is guess people's passwords of their social media accounts, because I've actually managed to successfully hack a few accounts. And I also enjoy changing some captions around without people noticing and tagging myself so people think me and Zendaya are besties. So today I managed to log into Shawn Mendes's account, and then I decided to DM some people some pickup lines like Olivia Rodrigo, which might have made me responsible for him and Camila Cabello breaking up, but anyways, today I wanted to get into Instagram's Instagram account to, I don't know, post a picture of myself or something. And then I remember the guy who owns Instagram is Mark Zuckerberg. So when I tried logging in with a bunch of different passwords and none were working, I realized it kept asking me if I'm not a robot. And since old Marky Poo is a robot, I left it blank, and then boom, I was in, baby. And I was stressed about what I should post to like 400 million people, so I just chose this random picture of me at the beach, and now 500,000 people have liked it. So thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for the validation.